two things. First, I don't think there will be legislation to fix the giving problem. So let me make that clear. Again, as I said earlier, I think that there's no way to have it because the people who benefit from it are the ones who would have to pass the legislation. And you're right, they're humans and they're greedy and they want power and they're not going to diminish what they have. In terms of the overall war going on, I have a different take on this. I am not one who harkens back to the good old days when everybody got along, because I was there in the good old days, at least in the 80s, when Reagan was there, and people sort of remake history. I don't ever remember a time when they all got along. They may not have had their fights in public, but then again, much more of their lives is in public now. But I vividly remember the things they said about President Reagan when I was there working for him. And by the way, go back even further. If you look at some of the speeches that are given by some of the people we consider to be the great leaders of America, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson.
The McKinney era was horrible.
Unbelievable. You couldn't print them. You couldn't print them, what they said about each other.
Alexander Hamilton died in a duel.
Exactly. Yeah. Every period had this kind of fisticuffs and this cantankerous kind of skullduggery that goes on. So it's not new, and the issue is people want power. So what they do is they grab what they can grab and try to score the ball to get power based on whatever the issue is.
So let me just ask you.
That will not change. These are humans.
So yeah, I probably agree with you, Jack. And we've got Mike, I'm sure, can explain to us multiple times how we're all frail human beings. But just a quick question for you then, jumping back to that point, which is that they're not in it for the money. Right, because, they make a fairly decent living and they get a good pension. We talked about the cowardly lion, Paul Ryan, retiring at the age of 49 with a full pension at our expense. But my question for you is, what is the attraction? Is it really that much power? If you're an average congressman, do they feel, is it privilege? They just feel, what is it? What is it that gets?
Yes, it is. They are powerful. By the way, it's not just the people who always complain about government who never leave. No one leaves Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason no one leaves Washington is the kind of people who come to Washington are usually very bright, very aggressive, and they're seeking power. They're not seeking money necessarily.
Yep.
Okay, they just want enough money to maintain their facade of power and all the rest. If they really wanted money, they go to New York or somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
They want power. And that's why they're there. And by the way, it doesn't just include the people who complain about the size of government. It includes every one of them.
Okay.
Nancy Pelosi, she hasn't left.
I agree. We could talk about that in just a minute.
Term limits.
Hang on for 1 second there, Jack. We've got to take a quick break. This is Max Miller, voice the Radical Censor, and I'll be right back. What is it that gets?
Yes, it is. They are powerful, number one. Number two, they are privileged. Number three, the retirement, the focus on their retirement package from the government is the wrong focus.
Okay.
Because that's not where these guys get rich. Where they get rich is going corporate boards, where they get rich is becoming lobbyists, where they get rich is this sweetheart inside deals that they, for years, everybody talked about Denny Hastert having his problem with his child molestation or whatever it was. But very few people talked about the fact that he became a multimillionaire when he was in there.
Did he?
And he came
well, wait a minute. Explain that. How did that?
I know exactly how that happened.
Tell us.
He knew where the exits were going to be off federal highways, and he had partners buy land around there. By the way, Nancy Pelosi has made tens and tens of millions of dollars with friends and family shares of stock from Visa and other places like that.
I know Democrats that want her gone.
It even happens at the local level with county commissioners knowing exactly where developments are going in.
I'm shocked, actually. So you're saying, for example, Dennis Hastert, I know exactly what happened with him, why he was gone.
He molested us twice, is what you're
boys.
saying.
Yeah, it was boys, let's not forget.
First the boys, then our
But I have a question. But you're saying, though, Jack, that we're not implying too much here, but we're saying that he sort of knew where freeways were going to be built and bought land around the freeways, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Around where the exits apparently, where the exits would be. Peter Schweitzer, who's one of the great authors on these things, Peter Schweitzer has done a number of books on this topic, talking about people on both sides of the aisle, the Bush side, the Clinton side, et cetera, and everyone in between, how they had the insider advantage. In fact, Peter was the one who identified and, frankly, got the movement going to stop the insider stock trading, which was going on. But this is the kind of stuff that has been going on in our government, not recently, forever. These guys use it forever. So when I say they want power, yes, they want power, and they're treated like potentates.
It's a means to an end, is what you're saying, really.
It's both. It's both. The means is not bad either.
Hey, Jack,
it's a win-win, in other words, for them as well.
Yes.
Real quick, do you think that there's really a double standard? Because you hear Republicans and Democrats always throw that around. Do you think that there's a double standard, or is there just some sort of continuous abuse of power by whoever's got the control?
Well, first of all, I want to be fair. I think that there's generally a continuous abuse of power, okay? But I want to be fair. It's very hard to be a politician in America and to actually do the job we send them to go do because of the media that are all over them and because of what basically every one of their actions is not really scrutinized, but it's attacked, is weaponized by the other side. So the paralysis that we see is in part because of why take a step? Why take a step?
Yeah, in other words,
by the way, who's the next person who's going to accept the Donald Trump nomination to the Supreme Court, by the way? Who's the next one who wants that noose around their neck?
Right.
So every time that this happens, it gets worse and worse. And so good people, frankly, who are sane, why would they want to go into this?
All right, everybody, thank you. This is Max Miller. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.